Good evening, everyone. It got quiet. Good evening, everyone. I know there are still some people out gathering some calories out there, so we'll have some other people joining us in the next few minutes, but I wanted to get things started. You'll see a theme for tonight is staying on schedule, and we said we would start at 6, so we might be a minute or two late, but thank you all for being here. We appreciate the great turnout, and the main message of the evening is welcome. Welcome to Iowa State University, welcome to graduate school, and welcome to the Graduate College. I'm Bill Graves, I'm the Associate Dean of the Graduate College, and my welcome is on behalf of Dean Holger and Assistant Dean Ogilvie. And we're all so glad that you're part of the Iowa State graduate student community. How many of you have arrived in Ames in just maybe the last 3 weeks or so? Raise your hand. So, wow, the overwhelming majority are very new to this community. I think you'll find it a great place to live for at least a few years, a great place to go to school, to learn, to study, a fantastic environment for research and discovery, and you'll find it to be, I think, very supportive of you and your educational goals. So I wanted to take just a few minutes to introduce you to my perspective of where you kind of fit in on campus from the graduate college's perspective, and give you a word or two of advice, again, from my perspective, and then turn it over to some other leaders of the university who are going to give you some suggestions and advice and welcome you to our community as well. We also have invited a number of people from across the campus who provide support services to all students, including graduate students, and they're situated around the outside of the room. We have representatives from the Alumni Association, from the Center for Communications Excellence, for the Center for Excellence in Learning and Teaching, and there's that hand waving. I knew Karen would be animated over there. The Department of Public Safety, I think I saw the handcuffs over here. Financial aid, Graduate Career Services, she's in the back. International Student Graduate Learning Community, over there, thank you. International Students and Scholars Office, also back there. Office of Equal Opportunity, I'm just going to run through these quickly. The Parks Library, Recreation Services, Student Counseling, and Student Health Insurance. All are represented here. Did I miss anyone? Oh, good, all right. I also want to welcome the people who are viewing this on a live stream, and we're glad that you're with us this evening. We have a large graduate distance education community, so they're viewing it from all over the world, and it's also being taped and will be posted on the Graduate College website if you want to review something embarrassing that I did to myself by making some faux pas up here later. So, again, thank you all for being here. So I mentioned I wanted to give you my perspective of where you fit in. So maybe imagine that black screen up there as the community of Ames or the Iowa State campus, and there you are, that little circle. You're going to be likely part of a group, maybe a lab group or a cluster of 2 or 3 or more students who are all working with the same major professor, the same primary advisor. You're also going to be part of a graduate major and part of a department that may comprise more than one major. You're going to be part of an academic college, perhaps an academic college like engineering or design or business or one of the others. But you're also going to be a member of the graduate college. So each of you is part of the graduate college, and we're here, the graduate college is here, to make sure that you're treated fairly, that you're given a quality experience here, that you have the opportunity to learn what you came here to learn and maybe beyond what you think you came here to learn, to discover new knowledge, to learn how to communicate that knowledge to the general public and to your peer academics and scholars, and to make sure that graduate education is handled consistently across the different academic colleges and programs and departments, and that you're all treated equitably and fairly. That's the main reason why I think the graduate college exists. And you're also going to be part of Iowa State University, and then globally, you're going to be part of a community of scholars all over the world within your discipline. So that's how I see you fitting in. It's kind of an interesting perspective to have, to think that maybe you came here from being an undergraduate and you might leave here being a peer of your professor, your major professor. It's a great period of growth and opportunity, graduate school. When you enter the graduate college office, which I hope you will come visit, we're in 1137 Pearson Hall, which is just west of Beardshire Hall. You will see these two very kind people. We only hire kind, supportive, nice people in the graduate college. And Shar and Melissa will greet you when you walk in the door with a smile on their face, and they are incredibly knowledgeable about how graduate education works. They know all about your major and your programs and the people that you work with in your department, and they are there to help point you in the right direction and tell you where to go for assistance. And they might send you to see me, they might send you to see my colleague Craig Ogilvie or Judy Strand, who's in the back. Maybe some of you met earlier. And we will help you with any kind of problem you may have that you aren't able to resolve within your program. So please feel free at any time to stop in the office, not just to talk about any issues or challenges you're facing, but also to take advantage of the opportunities that we have there for your professional growth. And I'll mention some of those in just a moment. I thought I might take a second just to review a little bit of history about graduate education at Iowa State. It has a long history. The first graduate degree was awarded in 1877 at Iowa State. In 1899, President Beardshire appointed a committee to study forming a graduate structure for the university. And in 1913, President Pearson, it's kind of nice that the graduate college is located in Pearson Hall, named after him, established a graduate division of the university and convened a meeting in 1915 of the graduate faculty. In 1916, the first doctoral degree was awarded at Iowa State. And so 100 years ago this year. And 2 years later, Ada Hayden became the first woman to receive a doctoral degree at Iowa State, which is notable, I think, for a number of reasons. One is that Iowa State, unlike a lot of other public universities in the United States, never denied admission to women, never denied admission to people based on race or ethnicity. So a lot of universities can't say that, but Iowa State is able to say that, and I think that's something to be proud of. By the way, if you're ever in Bessie Hall, there's a herbarium named after Ada Hayden, and there's a park in Ames named after her as well. Quite a local legend. She was an Iowan. This is our website, and I encourage you to visit it. We've spent countless hours talking about how it should be designed and have recently updated it with the intent of making it as useful for you as possible. If you click on the Current Students tab, here's the menu that you will see, which includes the Center for Communications Excellence, the Student Handbook, information about the Graduate and Professional Student Senate, the Career Services Center, and other important facilities that we have within the Graduate College. It also includes important information about deadlines that apply if you want to graduate soon, and forms that you might need if you want to appoint a committee to help guide you or to submit your plan of study. So very useful place to visit, even ahead of the game, so you know kind of what to expect before you're ready to do these things. Going back to the main page, another site that you can click is the professional development icon, and you'll find a constantly updated list of professional development opportunities that are offered through the Graduate College in cooperation with other entities on and off campus. So check this out, maybe bookmark it. These opportunities are constantly evolving. You'll also see information, I don't know if you can read it up on the upper left, that says individual development plan. This is something we encourage you to do with your major professor, to plan out your professional development as a student beyond just the courses that you're going to take. Here's a little more detail about the IDP, as we call it, that individual development plan. And if you're interested in data, which a lot of graduate students are, we have a lot of numbers and facts and statistics on our website. Each graduate major has a database that you can access, like this one for psychology, that talks about the number of graduate students who started over a series of years and what their outcomes were. How many of them actually received a PhD, how long it took for them to receive a PhD, how many left with a master's degree instead of a PhD. So we're trying to be open with you about how graduate education works here to allow you to make informed decisions when you're choosing a major. And we've been busy calculating these sorts of data sets to inform students and potential students of this kind of information. So check it out for your major. And whatever this number, you might be able to say the average time you might be able to calculate the average time to earn a PhD by major. We would encourage you to try to beat that goal. Because the sooner you beat that goal, the a master's degree instead of just a PhD, within the United States, on average, you're going to earn about $10,000 more per year. And if you earn a doctoral degree, a PhD, over a master's degree, you're going to earn on average about $20,000 more than that per year. So there's some economic incentive to finish up quickly and to move out into the workforce. So my last slide just contains a few words of advice, which include setting milestones. Think about what I'd like you to do is before you leave this room tonight, define yourself as the graduating class of whatever year you think you can graduate with your master's or your PhD. And if you think it's going to take 5 years to get your PhD, challenge yourself. Maybe you can do it in 4.5 or 4. If you really push and stay motivated, stay on task, set milestones, and progress on a good pace. Decide when you're going to have your first committee meeting and when you're going to file what we call your POSC, your Program of Study and Committee Form. The Program of Study and Committee Form is where you tell us in the Graduate College who the faculty mentors for you will be and what courses will make up your curriculum. And what we find in the Graduate College is that students who file that sooner than later have greater success and have fewer problems. So my advice is as soon as you feel ready to submit that form, get it going, get it on file. It can always be updated and changed if your situation changes, but just having that part of the process done really helps a graduate student advance quickly. That professional development plan may be something you want to consider as a milestone. What I like to tell my students after they've been with me for about a semester is to scratch out a tentative table of contents for their thesis or dissertation. Just have a framework in mind for where you're going. It's like a roadmap for where you want to end up. And of course, the chapter titles can change and the number of chapters can change, but at least you're always thinking about it. And I would encourage you to do that. Some of you may not need to write a thesis or dissertation. We have non-thesis masters and we have coursework-only masters. Think about your preliminary exam if you're a PhD student, and set your goals for once you set your graduation date, when your final oral exam will be for your master's degree even. Communicate with your major professor especially, but with your other faculty advisors and fellow students who maybe have been around longer and can give you good advice. Seek feedback, especially again from your major professor. You and your major professor have a special relationship, and you need to make sure that you're pleasing her or pleasing him, and that he's pleased or she's pleased with what you're doing, and that she or he is serving you properly. You need to give that kind of feedback to your professor. Keep in contact with your committee members. It's a mistake to form a committee and then never meet with them or consult with them. Definitely keep them in the loop. Let them know what you're doing. Let them help you along the way. Broaden and engage. By this I mean consider getting involved in the Graduate and Professional Student Senate, or consider getting into a club or starting a new club. Buy season football tickets and get out and do something like that once in a while. Just engage in the broader community. Volunteer for an organization in town, rather than being isolated maybe within your lab or your department all the time. Be a good departmental citizen and university citizen. I know in my department, graduate students are judged by the department chair on whether they attend our seminars. You know, if your department offers a seminar series, show up and listen, and try to get something out of each one, and participate within your department. Volunteer for activities there as well. And lastly, write regularly. Graduate students have to develop writing skills while they're in graduate school and learn to communicate in writing and in other ways, but especially in writing, with a new group of peers, these scholarly people who write in what may seem sometimes like obscure academic journals. You need to know how to write within that new genre. And that's one way that we can help in the graduate college because of our center devoted to writing skills that is tailor-made for graduate education. So I encourage you to take advantage of that. So thank you again for being here. And before I step away and let the next speaker continue, I wanted to thank Judy Strand in the Graduate College, who's sitting in the back. Judy is responsible for this entire event pretty much tonight, along with the Vice President of GPSS, the Student Senate, Bharat Agrawal. I know I messed that up. And the rest of GPSS, who definitely put in countless hours thinking about this and organizing this event. So let's give them a round of applause. All right, so with that, I'd like to introduce the provost of the university, Dr. Jonathan Wickard, who will offer you a few suggestions and words of advice and his perspective on graduate education at Iowa State. Dr. Wickard?
Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. There you go. That's a good Iowa State welcome. Well, I'm thrilled to be here tonight, and on behalf of our university's president, Dr. Stephen Leith, to welcome you to Iowa State University and to wish you the very best in your graduate studies at this excellent institution. I'd like to just echo the words that Bill had about also thanking Vivek and Bharat and Judy for the good work that they've done in putting on this orientation workshop for you, to help you with your transition from wherever you've come across Iowa, across the United States, or across the world to our university here in Ames. It's a real pleasure for me as provost of the university and my team of academic deans and vice presidents and senior staff to have the opportunity to work with the Graduate and Professional Student Senate. It's an organization that exists for you, to help you so that your voice can be heard and so that we can develop partnerships between the graduate student body and the university, always with a goal to raise the bar for the quality of the education that you're going to be getting here at Iowa State University. And just some of the things that we've done over the years are establish a new research conference for graduate students and organized by graduate students to present your work and to develop those communication skills that you were just hearing about. We've put in place new policies to support graduate students with what's called bridge funding, when one grant might end and another grant might be picked up for graduate students who are supported on research assistantships or teaching assistantships. We've put in place a new policy to support graduate students for the birth or arrival of a child, new career services support, and many other things that you're going to learn about. But the base message I want to give you is that there's a very good connection between GPSS, your elected representatives, and the university administration. We're always coming together and looking for partnerships to move our graduate program forward. And Vivek and I and the presidents of GPSS that came before Vivek and I would meet on a monthly basis so that we can talk about these issues and make sure that we look for ways to work together. I would tell you it's a really exciting time to be a new graduate student or a continuing graduate student or a provost, I'll tell you, at Iowa State University. You have come to a university that is really on the move, and I'm very happy for you, and I'm actually excited for you, and I gotta admit, I'm a little bit jealous of you for the journey that you're starting on right now in graduate school. As I look back to my years in graduate school, they were definitely among the very best years of my life. It is an exhilarating time intellectually, socially, and in many ways to be a graduate student. And I'll talk a little bit in a few minutes about some of the differences between being an undergraduate student and being a graduate student, and what makes the graduate experience so different and so special. We really are a university on the move. Graduate enrollment at the university has grown by 10% in the last several years in many disciplines across our campus. We have hired many faculty over that time period as well. Since President Leith came to Iowa State University, we've hired 444 new tenured or tenure-track faculty at our institution. We're growing the ranks of our faculty, we're growing the quality of our faculty, and it's very important for you because those faculty are teaching the classes you're going to be taking, and those faculty are the advisors of you as you're working on your graduate or professional degree. If you're working on a research project, you'll have a very close relationship with that faculty member, an apprenticeship almost, a mentoring relationship. And as I think back to my PhD advisor, who is the same individual who was my master's degree advisor, who was the same individual who was the advisor for a senior project I did when I was an undergraduate, he is, next to my father, the most influential man in my life. And so I hope that you will be able to develop those kind of mentoring relationships here at Iowa State with our faculty as well. We participate in a lot of national surveys, and a recent survey, a national survey that was conducted of graduate students at the very top 60 or so major research universities in the United States, public universities like Iowa State, and private universities as well. Really that top tier of major research universities in the U.S. Graduate students at all those schools were surveyed about their experience. And I can tell you, Iowa State came out very, very well represented in that survey. Our graduate students are more likely than at other universities to want to refer a friend to come to Iowa State and be a graduate student. Our graduate students are more likely to feel as though they've been treated well and respectful by their faculty members than at many other universities. Our graduate students have a higher overall degree of satisfaction, those students pursuing a PhD, a higher overall level of satisfaction than at other universities. And the cohort of institutions that was considered here is really that top echelon of schools in the United States. So you're coming to a place that has not only a great academic reputation, but a focus on that student experience and a focus on your satisfaction. And there's a lot of surveys out there, but this is one that I am particularly proud of. Another way that the university is on the move is in terms of the growth of our research enterprise. That's a very important aspect of the institution's mission. We really have three missions here at Iowa State University as a land grant, so-called land grant university. Teaching is one, it's a prime mission. Our research, the mission of discovery of new knowledge is also a mission. And then what we call extension is the third mission, and that's taking the discoveries here on campus and disseminating them out beyond the campus's borders to serve Iowans and the country and really the world globally. And one of the ways that we measure the impact of that research is by the investment of others in the research, the ingenuity and entrepreneurship of our faculty. And last year, we had over $250 million of external support of research at this university. That went up by 12% in 1 year. And it's an amazing statistic because in this economy, for any financial statistic to be going up is a very good thing. For a financial measure to go up by double digits in 1 year is really, really extraordinary. And that external research support is very important because it translates for graduate and professional students into research assistantships in a lab. It translates into laboratory technicians to be able to maintain equipment and to train you on that equipment. It translates into renovations of research labs. It translates into cutting edge equipment and all sorts of opportunities. So my point is that you're joining an institution that has a research enterprise that's on a move, and that's very central to the graduate student experience. Another way that the campus is on the move is just construction. You might have noticed a couple of construction cranes on our campus. There's 2 right now, and about a year from now there'll be a third one that's up. We are building out new facilities in the biosciences, a large addition to Bessie Hall, and a new facility called the Advanced Teaching and Research Building that'll be on the north side of campus. And a year from now, construction will be underway on an $80 million facility called the Student Innovation Center. And all of these new facilities and renovations that you're seeing on campus, it's all comes down along with the faculty hiring, the research growth. It all comes down at the end to making sure that you and your colleagues across the graduate college and all of our undergraduate students just have the very best experience, because we want to provide you with that learning experience so that you can go out and start your careers and have a great jump start from here at Iowa State. Well, graduate professional school for you, I will tell you a couple things about it. One is you're going to be very busy. You'll probably be busier and you'll probably work harder than you ever have in your life. Okay? And I say that because that's a good thing. You're also going to be challenged. We will challenge you. Your faculty will challenge you in ways that you haven't really been challenged before. And I tell you that because that's a good thing also. You want to be intellectually challenged. That's why you're going into graduate school. You were selected to come to Iowa State University from very many highly qualified applicants. And you rose to the top there, and you're coming to a great institution. So you've already met a high bar. We have great confidence you're going to succeed. We have great confidence you're going to do well in your studies. You're going to graduate as soon as possible, as Dr. Graves was describing, and that you're going to leverage your Iowa State degree for a wonderful career. Graduate school differs from an undergraduate experience. You know, when you're an undergraduate student, it's all about those courses, and your faculty member lays everything out for you in a syllabus, and you have problem sets or labs or papers or reports, whatever, that are due at different times. It's all laid out. You got the book, you got the resources on the web, and you pretty much follow that recipe or that agenda, that syllabus the faculty member gives you, and you complete that course and you move on to the next one. You know, graduate school differs when you're involved in a research-based program. So many of you will be working on research projects as part of your master's degree or part of your PhD degree. And the way you learn in graduate school, the structure of the graduate curriculum, when it's built around a research project, like the program of study committee that Bill was talking about, that way of learning is just very different. It's different in the respect that in graduate school, the main takeaway is that we want to teach you how to learn. We want to teach you how to teach yourself. And that's why you have to view the research project as a learning opportunity. You're going to be working on a research project on a research question that nobody before has ever answered that particular research question. That's why it's a research question. They don't know the answer to it. Your advisor doesn't even know the answer to it. And when you start it, you don't know the answer to it. But the whole goal is that by the end of that dissertation, by the end of that thesis, you will know the answer to it. And you will become the person in the world who knows the most about that area of human knowledge. You will be the expert in it. There's a question out there, a research question, that nobody in the history of humanity, all the minds, has not yet figured out. Your thesis advisor is going to work with you to figure out that particular question and to frame it. And then working with that faculty member, you're going to take a couple years and you're going to work through it and you're going to answer that question. It is exhilarating when you find that answer. I remember the morning when I found that answer in my graduate studies. I was a grad student at UC Berkeley, and it was a Saturday morning, and I went into the lab to work on a Saturday morning in California. It was beautiful outside, typical California, blue sky, sunny morning, and I went in the lab in the basement of my building into my office, which had no windows. In fact, we had drawn a cartoon and put it on the wall, and we wrote "simulated window" to cheer ourselves up. And I was in the lab that morning, and nobody else was there. And I was sitting at my desk, and I had this research problem I had been given. I'm an engineer by background, and I was working on a mathematical modeling problem for a certain type of engineering problem. People had been working on this type of problem for over a century, and no one could really solve it well or elegantly. And I was working on it that morning, and I was playing around with different things, mathematical formulations, and I had all this leftover computer printouts that I was using as my scratch paper, and I was going through a lot of paper that morning. And finally I wrote something down, and it clicked. I said, and I started working through it some more. I said, there might be something here. And I worked through it, and in the space of about an hour, 1 hour of my life, but with a little epiphany, I had kind of worked this thing out. And I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that I had figured that out. And I said, I got to take a break. So I walked down the hill to a little bakery on the corner, and I got a cup of coffee and something to eat. And as I walked down the sidewalk, I remember looking at other people going by me on the sidewalk, and I thought, they're totally unaware How clueless are they? They don't know that I figured this cool thing out. And I came back, and over the space of that afternoon, that one afternoon, I basically worked out my entire thesis. And that was exhilarating. That was, one of the most intellectually exciting times of my life. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And my hope for you, as new graduate and professional students here at Iowa State University, is that you're going to have a moment like that. I'm confident you will. And so I encourage you to look for that moment and seek that moment out, because that will become your true Iowa State experience. Well, I'd like to wrap up with just a few pieces of kind of final advice. One piece of advice I'd give you is to get involved. The learning experience at an institution like Iowa State certainly takes place in the classroom, in the laboratory, in the library, in the office. Yep. But there's a lot of learning that takes place outside those traditional learning venues. Get involved. Get involved with GPSS. Get involved with other leadership opportunities on campus. It will add a lot to you professionally and to your future career success. Second piece of advice I'd give you is expand your network. Dr. Graves had a wonderful slide up there where he showed your research group. Did you see how small that little oval was? And your department, your college, the campus, much larger. Expand your network. Make your learning more diverse than just being in the basement of the engineering building on campus. You will learn a lot from others. Many of the most interesting questions out there are at the boundaries of the traditional fields. And you'll learn about that by going to seminars in other departments, by networking in groups like this and meeting other graduate students. So expand your network and seek out diverse areas of scholarship to pursue here at Iowa State. And the third piece of advice that I'd want to give you, take care of yourself. I earnestly mean that. Graduate school, professional school, it's stressful. I will tell you that. It's stressful. You'll handle it, you'll do well. But I want you to know that it's okay to ask for help. There are a lot of resources on our campus to help you take care of yourself. And some of them are here in the room. Rec services, exercise, student health services, a lot of ways that you can take care of yourself here on campus. And my good friend and colleague, Dr. Martino Harmon, is going to talk about that a little more here in a few moments. But I want to let you know that you're running a race here on campus, but there are thousands of faculty and staff here on our campus who are here to help you and be your coaches along the way. Well, again, I am very excited for you and all of the opportunity that lies in front of you as you start your studies at Iowa State. I'm thrilled that you're here. I know you're going to have an outstanding experience, and I very much look forward to being up on the stage in Hilton Coliseum in a few short years as you walk across the stage and you receive your Iowa State diploma, and I have the opportunity to shake your hand. If you come up on my side of the stage, if you go up on the other side of the stage, President Leith will shake your hand, and he'll be thrilled to shake your hand too. So again, welcome to Iowa State, and go Cyclones.
Thank you, Dr. Wickard. He doesn't know it. Dr. Wickard doesn't know this, but he just made my day. Not today, but tomorrow. He made my day for tomorrow, because at 10 o'clock in the morning, it is at 10, right, Anna? One of my graduate students down here. I have a meeting with 4 of my graduate students, and they don't know what the meeting's about. I just sent them a meeting schedule or a meeting announcement and said, let's meet at 10 o'clock. The meeting is, I don't want to give the surprise away, but the meeting is going to challenge them. So when Dr. Wickard was talking about being challenged, this fits right into my agenda tomorrow, because I have a project where the 5 of us, I'm going to work with my 4 students on this, and we're going to pursue a challenging project that I think we can all learn from. So expect to be challenged by your major professor too. Our next speaker is Dr. Martino Harmon. He is the Senior Vice President for Student Affairs here at Iowa State. And thank you for being here.
Good evening and welcome. Good evening. Okay, the mic's on. Good. Maybe I go to that one. Before I make my brief remarks, I just want to thank my good friend, Dr. Wickert, Provost Wickert. And we have a real strong partnership between our divisions at Iowa State, and he really is a good friend. And because we're good friends, we like to tease and poke each other a lot. And sometimes it comes down to who has the mic last. So he's really nervous right now. He's a little edgy. So I'll just say, great job. There you go. You're off the hook. But it really is my pleasure tonight to welcome you as you get ready for this next phase in your educational journey and what we like to call at Iowa State, your adventure. And this is a fun time. So I want to take a few minutes really to introduce you to the Division of Student Affairs, because we are very much a big part of your experience at Iowa State, as Dr. Wickert alluded to. Our personnel work really hard to ensure that your time here at Iowa State is successful and that you have the support that you need and the experience that you know that this university has the best that we can offer. In partnership with faculty and other university staff, to student affairs personnel, we develop, deliver, and manage programs and services that orient new students to campus, provide recreational facilities, activities, and programs, support academic life through residential learning communities, tutoring, supplemental instruction, address the needs of special student populations. We develop events, advise student government and student GPSS and other organizations. We offer leadership and diversity training for the student body, as well as opportunities to participate in peer education. So we really do a lot. And I'm very aware of the experience that graduate students go through and how it is different, as Dr. Wickert mentioned. Because just 3 short years ago, I was completing a long journey towards my doctoral degree, and I finished in fall around this time, September. I defended in September of 2013. So I really understand some of the stresses that you go through as a graduate student. Many of you may be teaching for the very first time in your career. You're all likely will be working on research projects in the basement on a Saturday. You will likely all be working in a department on campus. And how many of you will be working in a student affairs department? By show of hands. Okay, let's get a whoop whoop just for you two. Okay, good. There we go. Some of you may have family here that you are taking care of and supporting while you need support while you're in this journey. And oh, by the way, as it's said earlier, you have to complete your program of study and your degree. So there's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. But what we really want to talk about is there's a lot of support here for you, and student affairs is here for you. And a lot of graduate students sometimes think that student affairs is just for undergrads. I don't really connect with that, I don't need that. But nothing can be further from the truth. And I'm going to test that theory with a little research, because that's what you all do, right? So I'm going to ask a series of questions, and if the question applies to you, if you're able, just raise your hand. So everybody got it? We understand the rules of the game? All right, so you got to pay attention. How many of you think at some point in time you might have to eat? Okay, so you can put your hands down. ISU Dining provides residential dining, catering, vending, cafes, and a number of convenience stores all across campus. We have multiple locations, and so we're here for you. How many of you may choose to live in a university-arranged housing, whether it be an apartment or maybe in a residence hall? If you're working in a residence hall, how many of you will live in some university-arranged apartment? A housing. Okay, good. I was hoping somebody would raise their hands. Okay, good. The Department of Residence manages all university-managed residence halls and apartments, and we have over 12,000 students living in our university-managed housing. Most are on campus in the traditional residence halls. We have apartments that we manage. We have leased apartments off campus. So we have a really broad span, and if that's something that you're looking for in the future, we can serve you. How many of you think at some point you might potentially become ill or be stressed or maybe in need of some type of health services? And, you can say, I'm strong, I can handle it, but it's a possibility. Well, if you do, the Thielen Student Health Center provides primary care, lab, radiology services, physical therapy, immunizations, TB testing, you name it. They're here for you. They're actually here tonight. In addition, the Student Counseling Center offers clinical appointments as well as career exploration services in conjunction with the graduate career services as well, and crisis intervention. I'm not sure if student counseling is here, but I know the student health is here for sure. There, okay, good. I didn't see you over there. Hi, Mary, how you doing? Okay, thank you. How many of you want to be in tip-top shape just like me? Okay, not like me, but you want to be in tip-top shape. But Recreation Services provides a variety of recreation and fitness opportunities at multiple facilities across campus. I'm really sort of setting the table so that you can go and get this direct information from the individuals that are here. How many of you at some point might need some money? Okay, if you don't have your hands up, that means that you probably have a lot of money and you're going to be becoming one of my best friends, my rich best friends. Well, if you need money, and they're not just handing out money in bags, so I want to make that clear, but the Office of Student Financial Aid, and Roberta Johnson is here, counsels students on financial aid opportunities, including scholarships, grants, loans, and employment. So you just can't walk in and Roberta will hand you a bag of money, but you know what I mean. How many of you want to make connections with programs and services that provide opportunities to connect with diverse populations or provide support for diverse populations across campus? Right. The Dean of Students includes a set of diversity and inclusion and social justice programs, such as LGBTQ student services, multicultural student affairs, the Women's Center, and who am I leaving out? I feel like I'm leaving out someone. But in addition to those services, the Student Affairs Division also has the International Students and Scholars Office, which Ashley is in the back, which serves over 4,000 international students on campus. How many of you might need academic support in some way, or maybe work with one of the support services on campus? Maybe, maybe not. The Dean of Students also houses academic support services, such as the Academic Success Center for tutoring, supplemental instruction, academic coaching, and we also have the Writing and Media Center. And we know that there are services in the colleges and with the graduate college, but we wanted to let you know that we're here for you as well. It's not just for undergrads. How many of you at some point may need to register for classes? Maybe see your grades, turn in grades. The Office of the Registrar manages university course offerings and assesses tuition and fees, as well as graduate records and commencement. Notice I didn't say anything about paying for tuition and fees. That's another department. How many of you will attend a student organization meeting or visit the bookstore, search for multiple options to eat in one building, or maybe even bowl? Okay, the Memorial Union houses a student activities center, dining facilities, activity areas such as the maintenance shop. I'll let you find that, it's really cool. The underground and workspace. How many of you might need help, but you may not be sure where to go for that help? Maybe, maybe not. If you came to this tonight, you'll know a lot of those answers. But the Dean of Students office has something called student assistance. And it's really a great office because it's sort of a catch-all. If you're really not sure where to turn and you have a variety of different issues and challenges, they can really help to navigate and intervene to solve a variety of problems. And you also may call my office. I'm located in Beardshire Hall in 2350, and my phone number is 515-294-1909. Finally, some of you at some point worked with the Office of Admissions because they process your application. But in the future, you may want to work with that department to help prospective graduate students or undergraduate students select their college. A couple last points I want to mention. Campus safety, there he is really important to all of us. We want to make sure, and they're not part of the Division of Student Affairs, but we want to make sure that all students feel welcome and comfortable anywhere on this campus. And it's not just the staff in my division who are working hard to ensure your safety at Iowa State University. We have an incredibly supportive campus community, and you're seeing that tonight. Our president, President Leaf, has made it a top priority, and the staff, faculty, and campus police, and many others are working constantly to ensure that all of our students are treated with respect and they're valued as cherished members of our community. If there's any way that my staff in the Division of Student Affairs can assist you in this transition to this new journey, this new adventure, please don't hesitate to ask. Once again, congratulations and welcome to Iowa State University. We're excited that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harmon, for that great overview of services for graduate students here at Iowa State. Our next speaker, I think, is someone you'll be able to relate to, or she can relate to you really well, because she's pretty new here, too. Margot Foreman joined us just over this summer as the Director of Equal Opportunity for our campus. So let's welcome Margot.
Well, welcome. What I'm about to do will serve you well, so pay attention, all right? I heard individuals say, good afternoon or good evening, and I hear good evening, good afternoon, all right? So what I'm gonna ask you to do is to repeat after me. I'm alive, I'm alert, I'm awake, I'm enthusiastic. Pretty good. Let's try it one more time. I'm alive, I'm alert, I'm awake, I'm enthusiastic. One more time. I'm alive, I'm alert, I'm awake, I'm enthusiastic. That's what I expect. My name is Margot Foreman, and I'm the director of the Office of Equal Opportunity, and as you've heard, I landed not just on campus, but in Iowa a little less than 4 months ago. I originally hail from Indianapolis at IUPUI, which is a lot of acronyms for IU in Indianapolis. And so as I come to the campus and come here, I encourage you to explore, if you haven't, explore everything that the university has to offer you. You've heard words of encouragement and words of welcome. And what I would say to you is those are genuinely given from our authentic voices and spaces, and I know that because I've experienced it. You should know that it is true. We want you to succeed and to feel welcome and safe and secure and explore all of what you can in your experience here as you become professionals in your careers and in your research goals. Our office, the Office of Equal Opportunity, is charged with what I like to say leveling the playing field. If there are barriers or if there are issues that are coming across your path of study or your engagement, our office is here to ensure that the laws that are and policies that are being put in place for your betterment, for faculty, staff, and you as students are held. So some people consider that to be a compliance mission. While it is compliance, it is really about being more inclusive, allowing you to find out how the diversities available to you help you be a better student and help you be a better person. On a global mission, you all are on a global mission. And in that mission, you have to learn how to be an appropriate citizen, how to take charge of yourself and your learning. And so to that effect, our office is here to assist you to do that. There are some protected classes that we are in charge of making sure we preserve your rights around. My job is to not only direct the Office of Equal Opportunity for ensuring compliance around discrimination and harassment prevention and the entitlements that are given to you by the law, but also I am the Title IX coordinator. This is going to be a big deal on this campus in a little over a month. September 13th and 14th we have been chosen because of the great work we do and because we ask for a lot of money from the Department of Energy to undergo a Title IX review. What that means is there are going to be teams of people on campus coming and ensuring that we're doing all we can to make sure there's an equitable adventure here for exchange of not only the dollar support, but just all of the acclimates that will be given from the research that you'll be producing. We will have people on campus who may stop and ask you, who's your Title IX coordinator? And your answer will be, Margot. You don't even have to remember my last name. Just say Margot. It's 5 letters, M-A-R-G-O. It's not hard. It's probably the easiest answer you'll be able to give all year. So we want to make sure that you know that, but not just for that time period. That's not what's important. We want you to know that we look at policies and processes and procedures that you'll be coming in contact with to make sure they are equitable, to make sure that they are fair. There are vulnerable populations on campus. The most vulnerable are our freshmen, right? Not because it's so dangerous to be here, but because the world is now their oyster, and they want to dive in full on. They might bump their head. You have different experiences. So I would expect you to employ a method that I was given when I started my, actually, my undergrad. If you don't like it the first time, you won't like it when it happens again. So what I say to that is to not just be a person who's sitting in silence when there are things that are happening around you or to you that you believe or have a gut feeling that's just not right. You don't have to pick up a picket sign. You don't have to go to Facebook. You can come to our office and we can advise, we can encourage, empower, have facilitated conversations, mediate, and yes, we do take complaints. But there's a lot between a complaint and a resolution. The last time I was in a science class, I think I remember them saying something to me about energy and friction being connected. That's what's going to happen anytime you have individuals who are diverse and different and learning, creating knowledge, making room, developing themselves, even the cognitive dissonance that happens in your brain when new learning hits the old. There's a conflict. We want to help guide you through those if they are to occur. I expect that they should. This is what inclusion causes. It causes us to make room, to expand our space. Equal Opportunity, the office, is under the Division of Diversity and Equity, where Dr. Reginald Stewart is the vice president. We just aren't doing compliance in that office. What we're doing is making sure the tenets of social justice are upheld, diversity and inclusion becomes a part of what you offer to your professional networks, other students, and those who will be your employers, or those whom you will employ. It is one of the tenets that will help us to create and hold fast to the mission here at ISU. We are charged to make Iowa and the world around us better. I hope you take that on as part of your personal mission. If there are things that you believe that you would like to discuss or talk about, if there's conflict that you see on the horizon, if you believe you need help lifting your voice, you don't have to do that alone. There are roomfuls of people across the campus through student services, through the provost office, through the graduate, through your graduate professional student organization who will help you. We also are here to help you. I am so excited for you. This is a wonderful time in life. Enjoy, dive into it. I expect that you will remember those 5 letters. I expect that you will remember that we're on the 3rd floor of Beershire. If you need us, climb the stairs, take the elevator, throw a rock, whatever, let us know. We've got professionals in our office. I have two wonderful, wonderful specialists, Jake Cummings and Dave Canopa, who are willing to have conversation, some of the kindest people that I know. We hold your confidences. There are certain things if we hear, we have to report and we have to pursue, but that's because of your safety. But we do that with the utmost dignity in mind, delivering the best customer service possible. I thank you for allowing us to come before you and to launch you off on a great adventure. I hope to see you, and I hope that you'll be able to embrace this experience wholeheartedly. Now, here we go. I'm alive. I'm alert. I'm awake. I'm enthusiastic. I'm alive. I'm alert. I'm awake. I'm enthusiastic. I'm alive. I'm alert. I'm awake. I'm enthusiastic. Welcome to your future. Thank you.
Thank you for those words of wisdom, Margot. And one other line to that refrain is, and now I'm going to ask you this after our last speaker finishes in a few minutes. I want you to fill in that year. What do you envision is your year of graduation? You're the graduating class of when, so be thinking about that, but also pay attention to our final speaker, who's the president of GPSS, Vivek Lawana. Vivek?
Good evening, everyone, and very warm welcome. And I mean warm welcome because winter is coming. So don't stay warm for very long. So enjoy your days of your shorts and your sleeveless t-shirts and whatever you would like to wear around the campus because jackets are coming. So how are you doing? More energy. You are in first year of graduate school. Come on, more energy. Okay, so I hope you guys are fine. Thank you, Dr. Wickert, Dr. Harmon, Margot, for the presentation. But I think it's correct now that I have the last mic. And I mean that as a graduate student and a student. And I mean that in a way that we all have the last mic. We all have the say in everything that goes on into the university. So who am I? I'm the president of Graduate and Professional Students Senate at Iowa State University. And what do? We are the government body of all the graduate and professional students on the campus. What does this government do? We pass a lot of bills like any government would do, and we govern, and we basically in the simplest way, I can say that we help to make the graduate and professional students' life much better at Iowa State while they are students and after they are graduated. Anything that goes along in those lines, we try to make things better, smoother, work with this university leadership, and they know that if something is wrong, I'm going to come to their office. They will hate me for that, but I am going to go and I'm like, hey, this is an issue, let's work on that, and they will get on that. I think there is never in my past 3 years of GPSS that they have said that, no, we don't have time for that. They have never said that. I'm sure they are never going to say that. Out of those 36,000 plus students in Iowa State University, we are a very small number of students as a community. As a graduate students, we are about 5,000, so we are a very small number of students. So you would think that this university is majorly for undergraduate students. And if you think that, then you are very, very wrong. Graduate students are equal partner of this university as the undergraduate students or the professional students on this campus. We are the teaching assistants of all these undergraduate students. We are the research that Dr. Wickert just talked about, that how good this university is about the research. And we are the leadership of tomorrow. So take it on you that you have chosen this university. And I always crack this joke that you have this, sometimes people come to Iowa State University and their relatives and their friends are like, oh, he went to Ohio or he went to Idaho. Nobody speaks Iowa. I don't know why. So this is Iowa State University, and you have made the right decision to choose this university because this university is not about undergraduate or is not about the university name, it's about you guys. So as a GPSS, we are a team of 7 leaders, so I'll first introduce all of them. Some of them are not here because of they're busy with their assistantship, or they're busy with their lab work, or one of them is actually busy in the internship. But they will be here by the next week. So our Vice President Bharat Agrawal, who actually helped in organizing this whole event, and who will be helping us organize all the other events that the GPSS will organize in the future. He's not here right now, he's busy in the assistantship, but Bharat Agrawal is our Vice President. Our Treasurer, right there with the camera in his hand, is John Shea. He's the Treasurer, so he's the money man. You, no matter what department you belong to, your department will have your graduate student organization. Go reach out to them. And if you want to invite a guest, or if you want to invite a celebrity, and if you think that is important for your department, you will need some money for that. Who will give the money? That's the person you have to reach out. So it's a very important person. Then our Chief Information Officer, Huan Jia Dong, she's also not here because she has a class right now. But she is the one, if you want to be the senator, that's the person you want to reach out to. If you want to know more about Senate, if you want to update our website, add something to our website, that's the person you want to reach out to. Then our Professional Advancement Grant Chair, Mohammad Walgumbe, he's there, right there next to the treasurer. He is a very important person, not for your student organization, but for yourself personally. I know all of you are going to attend one of the conferences around the year sometimes, or during your PhD or master's degree, and you will need money for that, unless you are so rich that you want to sponsor your own conference funding. But if you need money, we got money. That's the person you want to reach out. That's the person who will review your application that I am going to this professional advancement conference and I am doing this thing, I need money. We provide $180 to all the graduate students who apply for that for the first time. Now I know that $180 is not enough to maybe go to Honolulu, but definitely you can go to Chicago and come back in that money. So whatever is there, we are trying to help to make your trip become much more better. Then we have our University Relations and Legislative Affairs Chair, Michael Belding, who is right there by the fireplace. He's the person who will be dealing with all the university committees. Now, university has a lot of committees, from childcare to SciRide to ISU Daily to student affairs to professional development. All this committee goes under him. So if you really think that I really care about health and facility and I really want to get involved and I want to represent graduate students, I want to learn more about it, that's the person you want to reach out to. Also, GPSS organizes a lot of professional development workshops throughout the year. Michael is the person who organizes this. So you want to reach out to him also for that purpose. And then last, we have the Graduate and Professional Student Research Conference Chair, Aksit Pierre, who is again not here. He'll be back to Iowa State next week. He's gone for internship. But he's the chair of the research conference, which is an initiative of GPSS. So as I said, that you guys could think that, okay, this is a government, they just have typical speech, they just do typical work, they don't really do anything, and you are maybe doubting that if university leadership actually listens to us. So I'll give you 2 big examples of what GPSS influenced in this Iowa State University and life of graduate students and professional students. First is this orientation. 4 years back, when I was a new graduate student, I didn't have opportunity to have a graduate orientation because we didn't have any graduate orientation. But then the president of GPSS then decided that why don't we have orientation for graduate and graduate students? And then we reached out to graduate college and we collaborated with graduate college, and since then we have every year, both in spring and fall, the graduate orientations for all these graduate students. Now don't take this orientation as a part of something that your department asks you or graduate college asks you to go and just visit this place and have good food. Of course, that's one important part. But besides that, orientation is something that you do only one time, like your thesis dissertation. You don't do it every year. So when you do it, take a full advantage of it. Learn things that have been said from anybody from the dais and anybody who's sitting around the room right now. These are the resources that you may or may not be needing throughout your PhD and master's degree. So take full advantage of this orientation. It's organized for you and pretty much by you, because it's organized by your money technically. And then the second example of what GPSS does or did is the research conference. I think 4 years back or 3 years back, when I was the newly elected senator of toxicology department, I had no idea how this works or how things work. And I saw some email from the Anna Prisakari, who was the president of GPSS then, and it said that we are looking for volunteers to help us organizing this research conference. And I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. Let me see what it is. That time I learned that having such a big and well-known research university, we did not have a research conference in this university. And that was kind of shocking to me, like a lot of other people also felt when we took this proposal to all the deans of all the colleges and we said that we want to have a research conference. Pretty much all of them said that, why didn't we think about that? So that's where we started thinking about it, and thanks to Graduate College, Office of Provost, and all the academic colleges, they sponsored this research conference, and we completed the third successful year of the research conference back in April 2016. I was the chair of the research conference back then also. And if you guys have not heard about PhD comics, then you must go Google it, what is PhD comics. The hilarious way of describing your life for next 5-6 years in a very comic way, in a very funny way. One of the very, very funny thing or very relatable thing that I can say right now is PhD and your relationship with your mentor is like your academic marriage. You literally know your professor like you don't know anybody else. And your professor knows everything. If you are wearing a red shirt that day and not have your hairs made up, he knows that you worked very hard that last night. It's like that academic marriage. You guys just know each other so well. And eventually you get a degree out of that. So something benefit. And the last most important thing that GPSS does is speak out your voice. Now, I am, as a president, is technically your voice of all of you. So if you have a problem, I want to know that thing. And if you really don't know who to reach out to me, because I can reach out to anybody, or I can at least tell you who to reach out to. So reach out to me. GPSS is your voice, and if you want to be your voice, if you want to come out and be your department representative, go to the gpss.istate.edu website and see if your department has any senators so far. If they do not have, reach out to your department and say that I want to be the senator from our department, and you can be the part of Senate. And then we meet every last Monday of every month for 8 times during the year, and all we do is discuss on the bills, pass some of the bills which is important for the graduate life, and basically move on and make graduate life much more better. Now, you are on definitely one of the most inclusive and one of the most welcoming campus throughout the country. I can say that with no doubts, because I have felt that during the last 4 years. I was in New York City before I came here, and when I came here, I was like, oh, okay, where are the people? Where are the buildings? Where is everything? And I was not really happy when I came here, I will be very frank. But eventually, how I made myself more known and why I'm standing here is because I got involved. So as the other leadership said, get involved. And get involved is very important, because if you're getting PhD in chemistry, they will know that you can draw this complicated chemical structure and you can speak out those complicated chemical names. They will know that thing. But they also want to know that, are you a good leader? Can you work as a team? Can you solve a problem which is not just your research problem? Because you are getting PhD or master's degree, and you will be expected to be a professor or a senior scientist or some of those positions in the future. And you will be a team leader. And if you don't know how to lead a team, then you cannot get that job. So Karen Lautenden, who is a career service director, we always talk about this thing that, one of the top 5 skills that you must have, out of those top 5 skills, at least one should be your leadership or intercommunication skill. One of those skills is must. And to have that thing, you have to get involved. We have 850 plus student clubs around the campus. So you cannot even say that I didn't get opportunity. Okay, that's just lie. 850 clubs and you still don't get opportunity, it's not possible. So you will get opportunity. There are clubs who's related to your graduate studies, who's related to your ethnicity, your dance, your any culture that you want to know about. There are all kind of groups all around the campus. And if you still don't find any group that is interest you, you can open your own group. That's the beauty of this university. So get out there, get involved, because staying in basement, I have my lab in basement and I know how depressing it is, and I should do the stimulated window, I think, because it gets very depressing staying in the winter. And when I go to the lab, it's dark outside. When I come out of the lab, it's dark outside. So I'm like, okay, what happened? So it's very depressing if you don't get involved and know people. And the second benefit of getting involved is networking. I would not know Dr. Vickert, and Dr. Vickert would not know, or Dr. Hermon, who is Vivek, if I wasn't involved. And I would have not met all these individuals, or all of you basically, if I was not the president of GPSS. And I would not have been the president of GPSS if I would not have get involved. So I know you heard these people who had PhDs years ago. Now I'm talking as one of you. And I know it's very important. So listen to me if you don't want to listen to them. Okay? And get involved. Now, I know you guys are very bored of all these orientations and going through this test and TA orientation and this orientation and that orientation throughout the past 2 weeks. So I want to invite you for a really, really fun activity. So all the pamphlets that you have in your hand, look after my name. It is something fun activity happening tomorrow evening at Brookside Park in Ames, which is the GPSS social. It's a fall social. I hope the weather stays good and we'll have barbecue up there. If you're vegetarian, if you're meat eater, you all love barbecue. So come out there, free for all, invite your friends, your neighbors, your family, just the person you met in the side ride. Invite everybody, it's open to everybody. Come there, have fun, we'll be having some games and we'll be having a lot of food. So come there and enjoy that event. Stay healthy, stay connected, and stay warm. Go Cyclone.
Thank you, Vivek. Well, you knew this was coming, and we don't want to take much more time because we wanted to save a little time at least for you to go around and visit with the representatives from all the support services offices that have come to meet you and to answer your questions. So definitely do that before you leave. But before you leave, and maybe as a starting point to getting up and greeting our visitors from the student services offices, anybody who has decided that you are a member of the class of 2018. You're going to get your degree. I see some hands. That's great. 2018 or even earlier, stand or raise. So why don't you stand? That's amazing. That's great. Wow. And if you're at home watching from a distance, no, stay standing, please. We'll get the whole room standing eventually. So if you're at home, you can stand up too. If you're in the class of 2019, if you think that's when you'll go, a few more, good. 2020, 4 years from now. Okay. 5 years, 2021 is when you think you're going to graduate. All right. 2022. 6 years. Now, this is my opportunity to introduce a policy that's buried within the Graduate College Handbook. Graduate courses expire after 7 years. So just keep that in mind. And we're not trying to rush you out the door. And we don't want to compromise on the quantity or quality of what you do. We just want you to be self-directed and take advice of the faculty and staff who are going to be working with you and stay on track and set those milestones and goals. So now that you've defined your year, think about working backwards from that year. When are you going to defend your dissertation or thesis? When are you going to take your prelims? And please do that as early as possible. When are you going to get your POSC, that form that defines your curriculum, all set and sent through the graduate college for approval? Remember, the sooner you do that, the higher the likelihood of your success. And you might even be able to do that this semester. So push yourself, but take care of yourself at the same time. Eat well, sleep well, exercise. Hold yourself to high standards. Hold the rest of us to high standards. Make the most of your time here, and welcome to Iowa State University. So now, please, take some time to meet the people who've come to talk to you about how they can help you. And if there's any food sitting outside, feel free for you to grab some more. Enjoy the evening.